All you have to do is follow three simple rules. One, never underestimate your opponent. Expect the unexpected. Two, take it outside. Never start anything inside the bar unless it's absolutely necessary. And three, be nice.
Hmm. Is that the new Roadhouse?
It is not the new Roadhouse.
Oh. It, is it the old Roadhouse?
Yes, it is the original
You
Roadhouse.
asshole.
You specifically said, "Is this the new Roadhouse?" And
uh,
I said, "No, it is not the new Roadhouse." I could have just said no and let you flounder on.
You and I have unfinished business.
Oh? And what's so stinking about it?
Non mi piace il feeling. Spirito Santo. I think this just might be my masterpiece.
Welcome to the Average Joe's Movie Clubcast. It's Justin.
And I'm Joey.
March Madness is in full effect as we are making an exciting turn here in Season 4 with my Loved It or Hated It series. But first, we'll be figuring out how to prepare a shrubbery and grab that holy hand grenade as we take on one of the greatest cult comedies of all time, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Plus, I remembered loving the German time loop flick Run Lola Run, and Joey's always wanted to check it out, which makes it a perfect pick for one of my first loved movies.
So, just a heads up, we are going to discuss our full thoughts on these films. So, if you have not seen a movie, please skip forward to avoid any spoilers.
And if you want to be a part of the Movie Clubcast, just hit subscribe, hit the bell. You know what to do. Leave a comment. Let us know, so we'll check our email. So, what's new with you?
What is new with me? Nothing. I have a very boring life because I am insanely poor and thus have no money to do shit. Like I mentioned, offcast, been brewing a lot of Magic decks online, coming up with like these $45 builds your own pre-con decks. Basically using a budget, building a deck, not using all the crazy expensive staples, just finding cards you wouldn't normally use, or seeing what else good stuff you can do with some other cards, that kind of stuff. That's really about it. Playing some Arena, watched a few movies. Getting ready for WrestleMania. That's coming up pretty soon.
What's the big match of that?
There's two nights. So night one is going to be Roman Reigns and The Rock versus Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, and that determines the main event, the stipulation for the main event of night two. So if The Rock and Roman win, then the match on night two between Roman and Cody for the world title, or the undisputed Universal Heavyweight title, will be bloodline rules. Basically, no DQ, and if Cody wins, then it's a one-on-one match. There's no outside interference, that kind of stuff. So those are the two big matches. Also got some other good ones: Io versus Bayley, Rhea and Becky. So everyone loves to see Muscle Mommy, so that ought to be really good. There's some other stuff. There's gonna be like a crazy 6-team ladder match, 12 men in a ladder match. What could go wrong? I would like to say that I've been keeping up with like the basketball tournaments for men and women, but I have no clue outside of I saw that the Lady Gamecocks murdered the Lady Tar Heels by like 47 points or something. And that Clemson went into the Sweet 16. And of course, Caitlin Clark is killing it, as she do. So yeah, that's about all I got. Nothing super exciting.
Gotcha. Yeah, the start of the year was total shit for me, but things are looking up. Thank goodness. Yeah, back into the boiler. Lots of baseball. Thank goodness we're in spring break now, so get a couple weeks off of that. But in charge of activities, yep, spring is here and it's the grind until summer. You know what? I went to East Bay Deli. It's a deli, obviously, here in Charleston. And I used to be a big old fan of their salad bar, and it used to be self-serve. I used to get like at least one big plate, maybe half of one, and then like fill up a box and take it home. But you know what? Ever since the vid, they have a salad bar attendant, and that grinds my gears. I do not like having to tell some person every little ingredient I want on my salad. It makes me feel strange. Not a fan.
Does it really grind your gears, Peter?
It's very interesting. You're between your windshield and like the building on the side of your screen kind of looks like some kind of weapon.
I don't even remember what the hell I have. And
like,
I can't see it because all I can see is yours.
Just
Some sort of weird building, yeah.
Which because we were just watching the second episode of X-Men 97, and there was like some guy with this demutation gun thing, so it kind of reminded me of that.
Okay, sweet. I think maybe possibly.
Yep, you got to watch the new X-Men show, and that's where it's at. That's where the X-Men are actually teaming up and not just hiding behind Wolfie to do all the work. So an actual team. I think we'll get there. Anywho, this is a movie podcast. Let's talk about movies with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Boo-hoo, which I watched this year. Okay. I got Getting Chilly in the Neighborhood, Sneaky Great Romance, and a whole new take on Frankenhooker.
Oh man, I wonder what that could be. I was gonna use that for one of mine, but then I saw yours, so I let that one go. I've got a young girl lives, an old man dies. Mm-hmm. I've got Jizz Jams.
Ew.
And Poor Monkey.
Poor Monkey. All right. What do you want me to talk about first?
Let's just let's get it out of the way since I already know what it is. I imagine most people who are probably listening to this know what it is. Give us a whole new take on Frankenhooker.
Yorgos Lanthimos' Poor Things, starring
Emma motherfucking Stone, son.
Yep, she's crazy in it.
The Hulk.
Ruffalo. Yeah, this is by far like the most like storybook fantastical things in kind of a perverted way for old Yorgos. Thoroughly enjoyed this little odyssey into this guy who reanimates a woman with a baby's brain, and she gets quite
her
frisky.
Baby's brain, to be more specific, but
yep, true. Her baby's brain. I guess that's even a little more twisted. I think in my review, I was just like, no, actually, when I was thinking about this concept in a review, I was thinking about having sex with an immortal, but actually having sex with a full-grown woman with a baby's brain, or a more juvenile brain, also pretty messed up. But what did you think of this movie? This can be a little conversation.
So I enjoyed this movie. I mean, obviously, anybody who has listened to this podcast or knows I love Emma Stone. She is a great and fantastic actress. I think a lot of people who might only know her from like Easy A or Superbad or something or Spider-Man might be like, oh, she's not that great, and obviously haven't seen La La Land or Birdman or Poor Things or The Favorite, which I still have not seen The Favorite. But
Ooh, good.
Yeah. I have a feeling I will be seeing that soon. but yeah, no, she's great in it. The beginning of the movie, like the movie is so weird. Like it is so weird visually. It's very great looking, but it is weird from the animals, like the hybrid animals that are created, and then
Oh
like
yes, yes.
the motorized uh horse and buggy that has just a horse head on the front.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it is really weird. Defoe is great. As he is, he just gets to act and be crazy. All the different set pieces and the way they made everything look was great. Um, and it was, I don't know, it's wild. I don't know if I would watch it again. Maybe talking about it now that some time has passed, maybe I would. It is kind of a strange movie, and it's not something easily to be like, oh, you like Emma Stone, go watch this movie. Like, you have to like Yorgos, and this was my first time watching him.
Definitely an
So
acquired taste. But I didn't think the dialogue on this was as rigid as some of his more normal stuff.
yeah, I don't think there was any real issue with the dialogue. It all felt pretty natural, because I mean, also you're in some weird, like, it's in the past, but there's future tech, and it's like steampunk, like,
Mm-hmm.
so
Bizarre. This guy doesn't have any more digestive fluids, so he burps these enormous bubbles that pop and entertain Emma's.
yeah, yeah. So God,
Which Emma calls God.
yeah. Is it Godwin?
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe's character, who's God. Haha. There's no deeper meaning there. Anyway, his father was a piece of shit. All these kind of crazy experiments and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, like the his hands are all fucked up because of some like bone thing they did, or
Yeah, his hands are fucked up. His faces are all scarred up. He pretty much
yeah.
has no penis. Like they took his digestive organs out. So like, yeah, no, he is not in the best way. Um, I definitely think people should watch this. Like, if this even sounds remotely interesting, like, it is definitely not a family movie. It's
No.
and it is definitely out there. But I think it is good. Like,
There's some borderline pornography in it, but it's
I
all
mean,
artfully made.
it's not like, it's not as pornographic as like Blue, but I mean, most movies
Uh-huh.
aren't.
Pretty close.
There's porno that's less porno than Blue. So
It's the warmest color.
yeah, blue is the warmest color. Yes. But instead of seeing Leia Sado naked for the entire movie, in this one you see Emma Stone naked for like.
Have you seen
half the
Metropolis
movie.
yet?
I have not seen Metropolis.
Oh, okay, so I won't
That
bring up that
is
reference.
that is on the like the watch list is huge. One day I'll get to it, I'm sure. So.
But yeah, it was cool that it got so many Oscar noms for being such this kind of twisted fairy tale of a story. Great acting, flew by, cool aesthetics, kind of Kubrickian, and how it's like a lot of the shot structures. So, oh, and then the crazy music with like the chords and stuff, and kind of reminded me of Under the Skin, which Glazer got nominated too. So how about that?
That was a weird fucking movie. That was.
Did you see Zone of Interest?
No, I'm talking you
Oh, Under the Skin.
Under the Skin, which I watched well before I knew what Letterboxd was, before I'd watched so many other movies. So I remember back just like I mean, I watched it because it had Scarlett Johansson in it, and that movie was fucking weird, like
Oh, yeah.
weird. Like, maybe I should go back and rewatch that one, but I don't know if I would want to. Especially when there's so many other things to watch. But yeah.
All right, so let's hear about a young girl lives with an old man dies.
This is
A
going
young
to be
girl
your.
lives and an old man dies. Yeah.
This is going to be your favorite of the movies that I'm going to talk about today. So I
yay.
recently rewatched Logan for the first time since maybe I saw it at the drive-in theater when it came out in like 2017. I
Okay.
might have watched it one time since then. I can't remember. But I watched the noir version
Okay.
in black and
Black
white.
and white. Gotcha.
Yeah. And boy, howdy, this movie is so fucking visceral in black and white. It adds this whole nother just level, like things where there should be all these colors. And it is black and white. It is grainy. It is violent. And it really adds to me to the breakdown of Logan. And even though Wolverine is Justin's least favorite X-Men, and I get it. He is even though it's supposed to be a group, and he is not the leader, he is kind of the standout. He's the most popular character, so like I can get that disdain. But this movie finally shows what has happened after all his years of boozing, and basically tells us that the humans have won. They have, instead of legislating the mutants out, they've just contaminated their food and prevented them from being born and helped break their powers and shit down. So that's how Logan is broken down. And we see your boy Patrick Stewart, Professor X. He's old and senile, and then kind of all hell breaks loose as they're trying to create their own mutants. And that's where X-23 comes from, who ends up being Logan's daughter, not through normal means, but in a petri dish. And then there's a clone of Logan, and there's just, it is a hell of a good movie. It is brutal, and without Deadpool, this movie doesn't exist, I believe, is how that works. So because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Deadpool was first, because this definitely is an R-rated movie. There's lots of strong language, lots of blood, lots of violence. But if you like X-Men, or you want something, you want to watch a movie about a superhero, but it's not your typical Marvel kind of fare, this is one to check out. Highly recommend. Alrighty,
Now,
Justin, anything to add? Since I know that's not your favorite movie.
I guess when I'm not such a fan of a movie, and like the whole rest of like the movie communities like acclaims it as something great, it always kind of rubs me the wrong way. But I mean, I can get what people like about it. It's neat that we finally got some blood to go with all those claws and stuff. For me, it's a fairly basic, straightforward tale, just with the X-Men skin to it. I mean, the grizzled aspects are pretty good, but I don't know, it just doesn't go beyond that for me. So,
I mean, that's reasonable. And like I said, I mean, we've talked about it before that you don't like Wolverine. So,
it's not that I don't like Wolverine. It's just like when he's like front and center and like he has to save the day, like what happens in X3, that annoys me. They used him perfectly in Days of Future Past because he was part of a team.
Except for in Days of Future Past, like I feel like that would make you hate him more. He was a part of a team, but they literally sent him back in time to where he was the only one doing anything, and that was supposed to be
That was
Kitty.
the gimmick of the movie. Somebody has to do it.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be Kitty Pryde. In the comics, it was Kitty Pryde, and she was the one who sent him back or something, if my memory serves. Anyway, yes, Days of Future Past also Days of Future Past, yes, good. Apocalypse, bad. Days of Future Past, good.
Apocalypse is okay.
Oh no, outside of the use of 4 horsemen, that movie is not good. It's better than Phoenix, but that ain't saying much.
Okay, what shall I talk about next?
Let's talk about Getting Chilly in the Neighborhood.
All right, so busting makes me feel good. I took the boys out to see Ghostbusters. Joey has turned this whole busting thing into something quite terrible, so we will leave that be until he snickers about it again.
That would be a perfect segue for you to pick a category of mine next.
So this is actually a lot like Ghostbusters 1984 in a lot of ways, because they're back in New York. The containment unit's kind of on the fritz. You got Peck is back in the mix, and he's the mayor now, and he's picking on the Ghostbusters. They go back to the library at one point. There's a lot of ties back to that original, which was fun to see. Go ahead.
I say, is this one related to the one that just came out not that long ago with like Finn Wolfhard and?
Yeah, it's the sequel to that.
Okay, it's the sequel to that, and is that also tied into the all-female one from a few years ago?
No, that got retconned.
Okay, so that one doesn't exist canonically.
And I think something they said in Ghostbusters after. Did you ever see Afterlife?
I have not. I have not seen. I don't think I've seen a Ghostbuster since the 80s.
I think in that one they retconned part 2 as well, which whatever. But with this new movie, so you get an ice demon that is trapped in a bronze orb which most of the movie is like about figuring out the mystery of this orb or what's in there instead of actually like dealing with the baddie. The bat that only happens in the climax, which what do you expect? But I don't know. I thought I was with a movie called Frozen Empire. I thought the Empire would be frozen longer than 5 minutes. But I mean, good stuff in there. All the old faces are back from Bill Murray, Annie Potts, Winston or Ernie Hudson, Ray as Dan Aykroyd. So yep, they're all there doing Ghostbuster stuff, fun stuff there. There's kind of this weird subplot that there's always kind of like this plot device in movies where somebody gets lured into something in order to unleash the bad guy or something. So we're dealing with that here. And I thought that plot line dragged a bit. But, I mean, overall, lots of good Ghostbusters action, some new suits, not a whole lot of new technology. Like, they're driving around New York, destroying all kind of property, and the mom of the kids, like, pilots a drone up and, like, captures this, like, swordfish ghost thing. I don't know. Slimer's in it. There's a lot going on in this movie. It's pretty fun. The little marshmallow men, you see those in the commercial?
No, but I don't watch trailers, so.
Oh, okay. Well, the little marshmallow men are back because you can sell those, and that's about it. So not a bad Ghostbusters sequel. Could have been better, but I mean, it's what you kind of expect from Hollywood remake sequels these days. All right. Dare I say, Jizz Jams make me feel good.
I want to masturbate. This is Ricky Stenicki, an Amazon, like just raunchy comedy that came out this year, starring
John Cena,
the Invisible Man, John Cena, Zachary Efron, William H. Macy. It's dumb. I'm not even gonna try to front. The movie is dumb as fuck, but it is also hilarious. So
what's the premise to said movie?
So the premise is the name Ricky Stenicki is a made up person. He does not exist. These three friends try a prank on Halloween when they're children, and it all goes horribly awry. And how they try to make sure that no one ever finds out it was them is that in the inside of a costume they write the name Ricky Stenicki. And then anytime something went wrong, it was always like, oh, well, Ricky's the one who caused this, da 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 da. So now you fast forward to the future, and Ricky, they have just made up all of these lies. They've got like a Bible about all the stories they've told so they can keep up with it. Like one of the guys, it's like the baby shower for his baby, and they leave to go help Ricky Stenicki because Stenicki is like got testicular cancer or something, but really they're in in Vegas watching some concert that they got tickets to at like the last minute. But then this kid goes into labor, but they had turned all their phones off so they couldn't be tracked. It's and then what eventually happens is that they have to produce Ricky Stenicki. They have to produce a person that does not exist. So they hire an actor who is John Cena, who they met in Vegas. And John Cena is like going around Vegas or Atlantic City, I think, singing. He has an act where he takes all these old rock songs and he turns them into jizz jams. And so they're parodies about masturbating. And he's being followed around by these two guys who, are looking for him for money or whatever. And so they hire him to play the role. He takes it super serious. Like he stops drinking. He gets clean. He learns everything in the Bible, the Ricky Stenicki Bible, and just fucking knocks it out the park. Well, Zac Efron's boss is William H. Macy. They actually end up hiring Ricky Stenicki, and there's all sorts of shenanigans. His girlfriend, Zach's girlfriend, is a reporter, and she's looking for a big break. She's about to do a piece on Ricky Stenicki, but knows that she has figured out that Ricky Stenicki is not a real person. And there's all sorts of shenanigans. It is just hilarious. It is a dumb comedy. Like, I'm not even going to try to be like, oh, this is highbrow. It's very dumb. But if you've seen John Cena in a movie, You know that he's good at acting. If you've seen Zac Efron in the comedy roles he's in, you know that he is great. So definitely worth checking out.
Oh, I think I did see a slide for that one. So I don't know. I guess it could be worth a look. I have been on kind of a comedy kick.
I've noticed. All right, what's your sneaky great romance? I have a guess. Let's see if I am correct. My guess, this sneaky great romance, it stars a person who used to be a very famous child actor, and now has a TV show, a talk show.
Oh yeah.
And the other one is one of the greatest comedic actors of our time.
Yep, 50 First Dates is a pretty doggone good movie. For all the movies where Adam Sandler heads off to a tropical location with all his buddies, I think this could be the best one. Kind of a time loop movie in itself, with Drew Barrymore's character like resetting the day over and over, and then Adam Sandler, he starts off as this hotshot Hawaiian playboy, even though he's like a fish doctor. But all the girls want him, but he's like, nah, you head back home, I'll stay here in Hawaii. But eventually he falls in love with Lucy. Lucy is played by Drew Barrymore. She likes to build waffle cabins and teepees and so forth. I'm not sure why you'd want to, build a house with your delicious waffles, but I mean, that's what, she enjoys. She's quite lovely personality. But yeah, her memory resets every day because of an accident that her and her father got in. So very, very touching story on how like he eventually wins her over, and how he figures out how to get her used to finding out about this every single day and like catching up on their relationship. Because every single day he starts back from scratch, and it's neat how it does feel pretty genuine. Like some days she's just not having it, and then other days she's into him in certain ways, and it always kind of keeps you guessing on what's like gonna make her smile. But some really romantic stuff in here, and I got the waterworks going by the end. The only thing I remembered about it is there's actually a scene of a Vikings game, because like part of like this reset is they actually go and like try to go get a pineapple, and they get in an accident, and it was her father's birthday, and so like part of the tradition is they watch this Vikings game, and so like you have Sean Astin's in it, and he plays like a juicer with like this mesh top, so that's pretty. He just has the weirdest characters ever since Sam. And they are watching The Sixth Sense, and it's pretty funny that she's like, Bruce Willis was a ghost. Oh, spoiler for Sixth Sense. Not like anybody hasn't seen that, but
I haven't seen that movie because I had it spoiled for me, so I never watched it.
You've never seen The Sixth Sense?
Nope, I had it spoiled, and I don't particularly like that director, so...
Oh, Shyamalana Ding Dong?
Yeah, I like Unbreakable. That one was good. But, yeah. Anyway, continue along.
Got the waterworks going. Really, really. I wish I would have watched it. I wish Christina wanted to watch it with me, but she passed. But stayed late watching it, and just got sucked into it all over again. Second time I'd seen it. But yeah, this is a very, very solid Adam Sandler rom-com. More of a romance than a comedy, I would say. And they still bring the raunch, because him and Rob Schneider are in it. And yeah, they're doing all kinds of nasty stuff. There's this one part where like they keep talking about like walruses having the largest like member of all the animal kingdom, which that's a thing. And there's this walrus.
I feel like
Ralph
the Blue Whale has something to say about that. But anyway, continue.
Oh, maybe it's the second largest penis of the animal kingdom. I don't know. There's a lot of cock in tonight's episode.
That's why you be busting, huh?
Yeah, that's why we be busting.
And your cat is screaming back there in the background.
Yeah, I don't know what. I guess it's Simba. It's like, what's going on? Feed me. All right, that's enough talking about Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore and their superior rom-com together. Poor Monkey.
Oh, the Poor Monkey. This movie is a sequel. It's Iron Monkey 2, and it's a disgrace to all things Iron all things monkey and all things Donald Yen. This movie is so fucking terrible. It is so far, and I haven't seen a lot of movies this year, but so far, the worst movie I've seen this year. Insanely terrible fucking dub. Not great. No option to watch it in Japanese or Chinese. I had the fucking DVD, dub only. Tubi, dub only. Amazon, dub only. So, I had no choice but to watch it in dub. No. You say that, you're putting up the metal horns. If you saw this, you wouldn't be saying this. You would see prime example of why I don't like dub. Because also, the dub would still be going on and it'd be in a different scene where that shit didn't make any fucking sense anymore. Two, the story also makes not a lick of sense. And from what we could tell from Letterboxd and elsewhere, even in Chinese, the story makes no goddamn sense. I really, honestly, there's some shit with some gangsters and some people paying some people some money and something to do with like a territorial leader or something in Hong Kong. I'm gonna be real, I don't even fucking know. It's bad. Don't watch it. This isn't even, oh, let me watch it because it's funny. No, just don't. Just pass. Save yourself the time. And just don't watch it.
All right, I will take your advice. I guess I'd have to get through Iron Monkey 1 first, right?
Iron Monkey 1, fantastic freaking martial arts movie, and you should watch. Iron Monkey 2, don't watch. Don't watch. Bad. Real bad. There's only a handful of movies, maybe a couple of handfuls of movies I would suggest watching that over. And I ain't seen any of those this year. So, yes.
All right. Well, on to feature movie 1, we got yours up first. Monty Python and the Holy Grail is a 1975 British comedy film satirizing the Arthurian legend, written and performed by the Monty Python comedy group, which includes Graham Chapman, John Cleese, Terry Gilliam, Eric Idle, Terry Jones, and Michael Palin. It was co-directed by Gilliam and Jones, and is their feature directorial debuts. Holy Grail is an original story that parodies the legend of King Arthur's quest and all kinds of fun Python ways. So, fun facts.
All right. So, looks like good old Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, and Genesis all contributed to the movie's budget. During the witch hunt, Eric Idle bares his teeth and bites down on the blade of the scythe he is holding. This was not scripted. Idle was actually about to burst out laughing and bit his scythe to stifle himself as to not spoil the take. Graham Chapman, also known as the heroic King Arthur, was the only member of the cast to wear actual chainmail. It weighed about 25 pounds, and everybody else wore knitted wool painted to look like metal. He was an actual G. John Cleese and Terry Gilliam performed all of their stunts during the duel between the Black and the Green Knight. They both had to learn to manage big and heavy swords and do some acrobatics, though never being recognizable wearing heavy armor and full helmets. Arthur's army at the end of the movie was made up entirely of 175 students shot from various angles to make it seem as there was double that number from Scotland's University of Stirling. And the Monty Python crew generally considered this to be one of their lesser favorite movies despite its popularity. John Cleese often says they think Life of Brian is their best work, but it also has to do with their bad memories of filming the movie. And Sir Michael Palin played the most characters, 12.
Very good. Interesting stuff there, but I would say our stories about it probably might be, or everyone's stories about it. I think everyone has a Monty Python story. So what first brought you to this silly comedy?
I was in high school, as I feel like most of the people of our age was. It was in high school. My buddy TJ recommended it to me. I don't know how in the fuck he saw it, came across it, whatever. We're talking like 97, we're probably in like 99, 99, 2000. Like, there's the internet, but not as we know it today. There's no letterbox, that kind of shit. I don't know how he knew it, but I know he showed it to me. I don't know if we rented it or if he owned a copy, probably on VHS. I don't know. I just remember we watched it and it was dumb. I mean, it was great dumb, but it was dumb. And I've shown it to people throughout the years, and pretty much always has that same, it's stupid, but there's just so many iconic moments. Like we probably didn't even have to go through this like we normally do. We could literally just talk about all the big moments, and would be like everybody would know what we're talking about. The fucking coconuts and the English Kniggets and Bring Out Your Dead and Knights Who Say Knee and Duck and all that other. Yeah, it's one of those kind of movies that, like you said, it's cult. Like everybody who knows it knows it. They know the parts. They know. Yeah, it's just great.
Yep. And I think it was always kind of like in college, like you'd be at a party or something, be like, you haven't seen Monty Python? Let's go back to the dorm room and watch it, kind of thing. I got to see this as like, I think it was like the last day of high school geometry class. And like the whole semester, like they're like, hey, can we watch a movie the last day of class? And the teacher's like, yeah, whatever. He was a coach. He was chill. We'd have like, he'd give us just like a handful of work to do on Fridays, and he would be always like playing Jimmy Buffett. So he was kind of like that kind of guy. But yeah, he let us watch it. And I didn't really know what to make of it. I think we only got as far as Tim the Enchanted. No, I think they had just, I think that we got to about the intermission portion before we had the bell rang and we had to cut it loose.
So you got through most of it.
Yeah. Definitely wanted to see the ending, which actually the ending, maybe I didn't want to see the ending, but we'll get there. Yeah, I guess let's rip through it. Love this movie. It took me a few years after this before I even knew what like Life of Brian and Meaning of Life were all about. So it definitely started with this, and yeah, every time I watch this one, something new stands out to me. But yeah, let's go through it. The comedy starts all the way up from the opening credits as we hear about this silly moose conversation and the subtitles, the moose with the two O's with the little crosses on them, so it looks weird. I mean, I've never really paused and like read each screen, but like each time I look through it, I catch something new, like the moose's hair and makeup was done by Sir Moose-a-Lot.
Oh yeah,
something
dude.
Weird.
No, it was just like Moose preschool teacher, and it's like the fuck, like. I don't think Moose preschool teacher is one of them, but that's the kind of shit that it was. So,
and then the projectionist gets sacked, and then they get sacked, and so
a lot of sacking going on, a lot of people getting fired.
And so then they hurry it up, and they turn into a Mexican fiesta with the light flashing bright yellow and orange, giving everyone a seizure as they start talking about all these llamas and the fact that Terry Gilliam and Jones directed this movie. So yeah, that's just the opening credits. As this was the first time I introduced this to my kids, and they're just like, "Dad, is the movie gonna start?" As I like laughed at all this moose references.
It's like it has started. And then I'm gonna be real. They go into that like black and white like serious movie, and I had fucking forgotten that part happened. And I'm like, what in the fuck is going on here? Like. And then it transitions into the King Arthur with his squire with the coconuts, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Patsy. For being such a low budget film, I think the smoke does a hell of a lot to increase the atmosphere and the cinematography. They shot this from all kinds of fun angles to really make it feel real and authentic. It's pretty gritty. And how do you describe British humor?
Usually dry. Is usually what you, I guess, would hear most people say about British humor. For me personally, it is hit or miss. There is some British humor that I find great, like Monty Python. There is other British humor, like Hot Fuzz and those movies, that I don't typically find that great.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat with that. But yeah, with the Pythons, they take kind of a simple concept and then they just kind of digress it until, the one guy is just like, oh, hell with it, and walks away. That's kind of what you can get from this Python humor. Yeah, all kinds of digressions. The first encounter, I mean, they're coming up to this castle. King Arthur, wants to spread the news of, the kingdom of Camelot. Well, not really the king of Camelot, but that he's the king, and they should join him on his
his court in Camelot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, take a shot every time he says, "Join me in my court at Camelot," and then later in the movie with the quest for the Holy Grail. You will be so drunk, so very drunk.
But yep, the first conversation's a whole digression about swallows carrying a coconut. He doesn't really care about the fact that they rode up with the coconut horse thing, and the people are a lot more interested. But if an African swallow carried it, it doesn't matter. It's not a matter of how he grips it. It's a common thing of air rate, whatever it is, weight ratios.
It's not a matter of where it grasp it. A 5-ounce swallow cannot carry a 1-pound coconut. Also, this is genius because it ties all the way back at the very end of the movie.
Does it now?
Yeah, it does. Do you not remember the Bridge of Doom, Bridge of Death, whatever the fuck it's called?
Oh, right, that part.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the cop-out.
Yeah, no, and then King Arthur has to know about swallows because he's a king, so he has to know about that kind of shit.
Terry Gilliam loves to make his movies look dirty, and they are mighty successful at this, especially that Bring Out Your Dead scene as, John Cleese, I guess, has either his father or father-in-law or some old bastard up on his shoulder and wants to get rid of him, and Eric Idle's not having it until they whack him in the head, and then they can add him to the dead cart.
And also before that, you see Arthur ride through the town, and they're like, "Oh, he must be a king." Well, how can you tell? Well, he hasn't got shit all over him. And then I think that leads into the help, I'm being repressed scene, if I'm not mistaken.
Which, I guess he didn't make it too far away from the castle where the folks were talking about swallows, because there's this weird, wheel thing, with somebody, strung from it in that scene as well. So I guess they didn't make it too far before. Yep, talking to the peasants, essentially, and, they're like, "Oh, we didn't know we had a king," and, they're talking about systems of government and stuff, and Arthur's talking about, the Arthurian legend with getting the Excalibur from the Lady in the Lake, and they're like, "Oh, that's bullshit. Oh, I'm being repressed." So good stuff there.
He's repressing me.
I had never really caught on to a lot of that dialogue, and the more I watched it, the more it kind of sank in. But I was in a church musical, and that was one of the lines. "I'm being repressed." I'm like, "What's that from?" He's like, "Oh, that's from Holy Grail." I was like, "Really?" And so I had to go back and check out where that was. All right. So let's see. I think we're on to
Black Knight.
Being repressed. Oh, the Black Knight scene, which thank goodness it's here, because I think this is probably everyone's favorite part, right?
I mean, if it's not, it's got to be up there. I mean, I know a lot of people who love some who call me Tim, and then leading into that cave, and then the knights. Everyone loves the other knights.
But I remember the first time I watched it. It was definitely the Black Knight scene that was like, "Oh, whoa, this is what we're in for here." Is so goofy with that. The Black Knight being like, "Oh, I always triumph and I move for no man," and then this kind of wimpy Arthur character slices him up pretty good, and he is totally delusional about it with the Italian style giallo blood squirting from him.
Where he the Green Knight rushes him, and he could literally just hold the sword and it would run. He would run him through. Instead, he throws it with pinpoint accuracy through the eye slit.
Yeah.
I was like, and there's just so much blood, and it's so obviously fake, and it is fucking great. And then yes, I've had worse, and
Tis a flesh
just
wound.
a scratch, just a flesh wound, which made one of my favorite t-shirts of all time, where it's the Black Knight being a DJ, and it says "'Tis but a scratch."
Uh-huh.
But I never got to order that shirt. I wish I had. It was a great shirt.
Eon in un contine, eon in un sequine. The Plank Monks. Yeah, just a little segue, but so impactful nonetheless as we start off with a close-up of his face and do not expect the holy men to be whacking themselves in the head, but I suppose with any particular religious cult, there's some strange practices. And we get into the witch scene.
Where we meet Sir Bedivere, the first of the knights to join King Arthur at Camelot.
Is it Benevere?
Benevere, not Guinevere.
Yeah,
but
the blue one.
The blue one.
Anyways, so yeah, what the peasants come up to him is like, "Oh, she's a witch. We must burn her." And she's like, "Well, they dressed me up like this," and like, "Oh, okay." And then the Cleese's classic line, "She turned me into a newt." Oh, got better. And so then they go into this whole like debate about how to figure out if she's a witch, and if she's a witch, that means she's made of wood, and if she weighs the same as a duck, and then she's made of wood, and then she's a witch, and so and then this is how the Blue Knight and Arthur meet, because they're talking about the ways of science in terms of this whole fiasco, and then that's kind of like whenever this whole quest to start getting knights together starts kind of formulating a little bit.
Yeah, and like some of the guys in the background are just ridiculous. The dude shaving cream like all over his face, and
First time I noticed that.
Yeah.
This time, looking at it a little more close, I did notice some of like the matte paintings and stuff, like the scene where it introduces Sir Robin, and it has this like really picturesque like cliffside. If you look real close, you can see like the pixels from how that's like a painting or something. But you gotta look pretty close.
Brave Sir Robin, who bravely ran away.
Bravely ran away, oh brave Sir Robin. Not quite there. Okay, let's talk about the animation, right? So we had little snaps of this like 70s style animation that Gilliam added to the mix, and just perfect like cutaways to this. It kind of gives that whole like medieval feel to it, and it's kind of like some of the cartoons we kind of watched growing up in that that kind of style of it. It's hard to describe, but any thoughts on the animation?
No, I think you pretty much nailed it. Like it is definitely that older style animation. Definitely not the new school computer drawn animation.
No.
So
I think there's horns coming out of people's butts and stuff, so some quirky stuff there as well.
Drugs. I mean.
All right, now we're at Camelot. This is the first musical number. Dun 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 dun. We're knights of the round table. We're sing whenever able. I think my favorite part of this is whenever the guy hanging in the dungeon is just like clap clap clap. Pretty crazy scene of all the knights jumping on tables and dancing and stuff. But it is a silly place.
And then Arthur's like, maybe it's best that we don't go back there. And then God shows up.
Okay, yeah, 30 minutes in, and we get our reinsertion of what the title of it is as the plot gets going. Of course, it's a good idea.
It tells them that they will find the Grail, and they're like, "Oh my!" He's like, "Don't grovel, don't look at me, and listen, don't do this." And I hate it when people do this.
Don't sing those songs; they're so depressing. This is the first time, like thematically, I thought about it, and like everything that Arthur does in it is like either they just kind of walk away from it, they give up, or they have to retreat. There's no conquest whatsoever in this movie, if you think about it.
Other than the rabbit, they do eventually conquest the rabbit.
Oh yes, they do successfully detonate the holy hand grenade and take care of the rabbit.
But this is after run away. So yeah.
And now we go to our French taunter. How do I know? How do we know it's French? Because he's speaking with this outrageous accent.
You smelly English knigget. Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelled of elderberries. Go away, I shall taunt you a second time.
We're looking for the Holy Grail. Well, we already got one, you see. I told you.
I already got one. And then they launch fucking cows at them.
Yeah. And then they go and...
All the squires.
And then Arthur and his knights, they go and build a giant rabbit in the forest, which Cleese is aware of because he's kind of listening in for it.
This is Bevedier's idea. I have an idea.
So yeah, they do a failed Trojan rabbit, and great cinematography as they're wheeling that fucker up to the castle and stuff, and the French take it. But Arthur's like, all right, what do we do next? All right, well, when night falls, we jump out of it. Who jumps out of it? Oh, and then they throw the rabbit right at him. So.
And you get that great sound effect. Basically the boing. And there's fucking rabbit just, run away. Also drink every time they say run away.
Oh, and then we have a cutaway to a historian talking about, their failure at the French castle. And then all of a sudden a knight comes up and kills him, which is going to be the downfall for this whole thing.
The downfall of us all?
Sir Robin ran away, away, oh brave Sir Robin.
He ran away from the three-headed knight, and they couldn't determine if they were all fighting over what they were going to do to him. Mm-hmm. And eventually he just ran away. This is after they all split up. They decided that was the best way to find the Grail, was to split up and go their own ways.
Wouldn't the guy singing to Robin, that would be his minstrel or something? Yeah,
his group, his minstrel, I guess.
Yeah, he was not thrilled about his penis being tortured, so he cut him off right there.
Yeah, stop with that.
Get some funny Fanny animation going on as the legend of Sir Galahad strikes on up as he visits a kingdom or a castle full of maidens at the Castle Anthrax. Why does it take him...
Someone could even say this castle was a madhouse.
A cat house?
A madhouse.
Oh.
It's a madhouse. It's an Anthrax song. Anyway.
I know every single line of this movie, but I have no clue what this Anthrax reference you speak of.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm like the only person who got it. It's fine. And anybody who knows like the one Anthrax song, Madhouse. Okay, continue along.
Yep. So yeah, they are very excited to see a strong, strapping knight enter their doors, and they're all about to tickle his pickle. And no, he wants to get out of there. He's on a Grail quest, and he's just like, I saw the Grail. Oh, that bad newt. That's my twin sister. She let the beacon in, and it is Grail shaped. And then you got the get on with it, which is great. No, this is just a bunch of pussy jokes. And yeah, Galahad's not interested in. He's not really picking up. He's not really picking up what they're laying down until they're.
Oh no, he's picking it up. He just ain't. He ain't having any of it.
Well, until they mention spanking and oral sex, and Lancelot busts in there to take him out, and then he has a little change of heart.
Yeah.
He
went from I'm not busting to I'm gonna be busting. We be busting. We be jamming.
The knights who say "nee," nee. I think this part's funny, but I think this might be one of the more I think this part's a little overrated.
That might be a fair assessment, but I mean,
I guess it's such an easy gag to reciprocate. Maybe that's the reason why it's always it rises to the top. I mean, it's goofy and it's fun.
That and of all of the ridiculous things in this movie, the killer rabbit, the holy hand grenade of Antioch, I think this is the tip. We must cut down the largest tree in the forest with a herring. Oh shit!
We are no longer the knights who say me. We say icky icky kapaka woo.
That's the word we cannot hear. What is it? Ah, you said it again. Ah, ah.
And this was the one sketch that's actually broken up into two parts because they confront the Knights of Ni and find out they need to find a shrubbery. And then it breaks off into something else. Oh, it's the Lancelot skit. And then it goes back to the Knights of Ni.
Where we meet Roger the Shrubber.
Yep. I'm a shrubber. I make and sell shrubberies. After Arthur tortures the poor woman with the knee. Knee.
We will say knee. No, that's not it. No, it's
Stop
knee.
or I shall taunt you a second time. Not this part. Gosh, that cartoon with the guy running downstairs and yelling at the sun and the clouds to stop bouncing. That's out of a movie full of random wacky stuff that, that's on the higher side of wackiness.
And then we meet maybe the greatest character in the whole movie.
Really?
There are some who call him Tim.
We're not at Tim the Enchanter yet.
We're
We're at Lancelot in the
motherfucker. Read. Passage of time with animation. Next thing. Tim the Enchanter with his explosions.
But I'm right here. I'm at Lancelot.
We were talking. Okay, I'm sorry. My fault. We had already talked about Lancelot with Galahad, and that was my fault. Continue. You can edit all of that out. Blah, 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 blah.
No, it's okay. Yeah, this is my least favorite sketch. This is the frail prince guy.
Actually.
Okay.
So we don't even have to talk about it. We can just continue.
All right, so this wussy prince doesn't want to get married off, and so he shoots his arrow, and it kills Lancelot's squire. And so he thinks he needs to run in.
But he's not quite dead. He's actually getting better.
Yeah, exactly.
That part was good. The little throwback.
And the part where the father's like trying to get the guards to stay there and guard him. I mean, I guess that's a little funny. But
And then after like he massacres everybody, he's like, "Oh, I want you to think of me as your new father, and you can marry Lancelot for her large tracts of land."
Oh yeah, he do you like the ongoing running gag? Like, I used to find it charming, but where like the guards at the gate, they see Lancelot running towards them, and then it goes back and he's still in the same spot, then he's back in the same spot, and then all of a sudden he's there pounding in the door.
I guess I've never paid it any attention. I'd have to see it, I guess, again. And
oh, not ringing a bell. Interesting. I mean,
it's
probably
as soon as I saw it, I would probably go, "Oh yeah, that's exactly what you're talking about." But just not having it in front of me, I'm blanking on it at the moment.
Okay. It's after seeing this movie as many times as I had, that's one of the gags. I guess that's just kind of over it. I mean, I don't really like the whole sketch to begin with, so. All right, as you said, let's move on. Yeah, good thing they found it. Okay, we're back we already talked about the end of the knee skit, so moving on back. Okay, yes, passage of time animation. So that's when, like, spring turned into winter, summer, and summer turned into fall.
And it's been like a year or something,
Mm-hmm.
another.
And now we go up to the great enchanter known as Tim.
They also have, worth noting, they do now have like a caravan of people along with them, including the cart that has the relic.
And we skipped the part where they run into the bridge guy early on just because I really don't care about that part. So, moving on.
Yeah, that part's weird.
Or he disappears all of a sudden.
Yeah, he just tells them to like search for the enchanter or whatever. Blah, blah, blah. So then we find Tim. He's just shooting, making fire appear out of wherever. He's got this cool like hat on with these horns coming out of it, and
Mhm.
like spiral ram horns. Like he literally could be the logo for the LA Rams.
And then, he knows where the Grail is, but they have to go into a cave. But the cave
With a
is
fierce and ferocious monster. No man has lived in.
teeth. Oh, yep. So
And then they go to the cave, and there's just skeletons and bones everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
First hint that they shouldn't be going in there and fucking around, but
Yeah, they underestimate the rabbit and pay the price.
and retreat.
Mm-hmm.
Run away! Run away!
Yep. Holy hand grenade. It's funny. I don't get as. It's funny because right before you told me that we were doing this movie, I had listened to IGN has this series of like their top 100 movies, and they actually went through all this, and they were talking about how much they thought it was funny, how the directions for the hand grenade, which I never really paid attention to. I mean, there's so much goofy stuff. I mean, you can only cling to so much.
Oh yeah, the directions are great. You shall not count to 4, or you shall not count to 2 unless directly to 3. 4 is right out. 1, 2, 4. No 3. No 3.
So they're able to go through the cave, and then they see some carvings on the wall, and they have somebody read them, and it goes, It's like, surely they didn't carve that while they were dying. Doesn't matter. They're about to get chased by a cartoon monster, which is quite fun until they show Terry Gilliam dying of a heart attack, which makes the monster go away, thus relieving them
conveniently
of
the
any
animator died.
additional conquest. So I guess their one conquest is killing the killer rabbit with the holy grenade, I guess, to be fair. All right, so now we're into the Bridge of Doom. Answer these questions 3. What is your What is your name? What is your quest? What is your favorite color? Unless he asked you, what's the one he gets Robin with? Do you remember?
What is the capital of
Assyria, right?
Assyria? Yeah. I don't know that. What's the airspeed wind ratio
Airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow. Is it European or African?
I don't know that. Ah!
Yeah. And then they're crossing the bridge, which, like, when I first saw it, I just thought that was like they throw the intermission in there just to make it seem like the bridge is really long. But the people I listened to like pointed out the fact that this intermission happens with 10 minutes to go in the movie, which, you know, even better.
I mean, yeah, you need a breather and to go up and pee and everything as we're getting ready for the end of the movie, for the climax, as it were.
Well, I don't think it was. It's only like a 5-second intermission, right?
I know.
It's like, what are you talking about? Could you imagine if they did like a full-blown animation thing and people go out and buy like popcorn and candy and go pee and they come back in the movie and there's 5 minutes to go?
Fucking got him. Boomed him.
That would have been awesome. All right. Okay, yeah, so this is the part where they have that cool-ass ship, and it's like they're playing this badass music, and they're sailing across that little body of water there to get to the final castle, so we think. But no, it's the French guys again.
5 minutes later.
Yeah, they they magically appear back on the mainland after this very heroic cruise they take a few minutes prior, only to get shit.
I was about to say a very shitty encounter with the Frenchmen again.
Yeah, they get doused with all kinds of shit being locked out of their front door, and now it's time to raise an army. Conveniently, there's an army there to storm the castle for reasons, but no, the murder investigators have caught up with them. They're shutting this whole production down, putting Arthur away, and that's the end. That's this cop-out ending, which, yeah. Just imagine my surprise to, not finish, or let's just say I got to the intermission in my geometry class, and then I rented the movie and watched it all over again, only for 5 more minutes to go with that horrendous ending. Which is it brilliant or is it brilliantly horrendous or is it just horrendous? I don't know. It's kind of a downer.
I mean, so is the quest real, or are they just LARPing real hard?
That is a good question. Verdict. Yeah, while the movie starts out, it does kind of run out of steam a little bit towards the end. Some of the gags, like I definitely think a lot of the gags in the front of the movie have my heart a lot more than the end of the movie. But I mean, every time I watch it, I pick up new stuff. It gets better. Such crazy iconic moments. Gosh, I love some Pythons. Easy 5 for me.
Oh yeah, 5. Like 5 without a doubt. Yeah, hands down.
Hands down. All right. Feature movie number 2. My pick. A movie I remember loving a whole lot, and I still do. Run, Lola, Run, or Lola Runs in German. A 1998 experimental thriller. A film written and directed by Tom Tykwer. Sure. The story follows a woman named Lola who must obtain 100,000 Deutschmarks in 20 minutes to save the life of her boyfriend Manny. And turns out she's going to have a couple shots at it. All right, some fun facts here. The red colors for Lola's hair. The yellow. The colors red and yellow appear often. These were selected by the director to signify danger. The reds are mainly in Lola's scenes and yellow in Manny's. Oh, okay. So like, she's like the fierce warrior and he's like the cowardly bastard. That works. Lola bets the number 20. The first and last story each lasts 20 minutes, and 20 minutes is also the time she has to get the money. 20. As well as writing and directing the film, Tom also composed the techno music, which features star Franka, or some German person with the vocals.
Franka Paente, maybe? I'm not sure, but it's Franka something. Frank something.
The guy who narrated the opening, Hans, he's apparently Germany's most popular fairy tale narrator. His distinctive voice is easily recognizable to anyone who grew up with fairy tale records in Germany. The English dub of this film is widely regarded as the worst in history. I had to put that in.
So I don't see how it could be any worse than Iron Monkey 2. Also, apparently, the English dub of Old Boy is just atrocious. So
yeah.
What we're learning here tonight is what I've been preaching to you for 4 years, Justin. Subs over dubs. Continue.
If I would have tried to watch this movie after Monty Python when I was significantly inebriated, I wouldn't have had to stop because I could have followed it without having to read. But alas.
But then it would have been worse.
Probably. I guess. I don't know. I watched it in German, so that's all that matters. I didn't know there was a dub.
Good. Give into your evil.
Yes. Oh, many spirals appear in the film, such as the staircase, the sign from the bar behind a phone booth. This is because the director loved Vertigo from Alfred Hitchcock and wanted to put in some
Still need
motifs.
to see that.
It's overrated. And then I thought you'd like this one too. So the game designer of Majora's Mask was inspired by Run Lola Run, which
Okay.
yeah, one of the main inspirations for the idea behind Majora's Mask, which was released in 2000.
Which was a time travel Zelda.
It's kind of like a race against time thing.
Yeah.
But he
You
gets
have
to
an
like
actual
reset.
timer.
He gets to reset each day though, right?
I don't remember. I didn't play Majora's Mask. Outside of A Link to the Past, I don't really like a lot of the Zelda games. So
Oh wow.
they're just not my cup of tea.
Bold take.
I didn't say they weren't good. Although a lot of people say that Majora's Mask is not good. I don't because I haven't played it. But I'm just not a huge fan of the Zelda games that I have played outside of A Link to the Past.
So this actually happens to be another one of my uncle recommend movies, which I kind of remember at the last minute. I'm not sure if like he showed me a copy he had, or I was actually able to find this at a video store. But yep, seen it one other time prior. Let's see. If you're curious to see a more dramatic version of this story, check out Blind Chance from Krzysztof Kieslowski, who was the same guy who did Three Colors Trilogy. He does a much more depressing political kind of take on a story like this, where it splits off into three different versions.
And to tie also into the Three Colors, that since you're doing a movie that you hated, that was the movie Red was the movie you picked in our season 2 episode of movies that we wanted to give another try, which is a very similar premise.
Yeah.
So you can go back and check that out and see if our opinions changed then. Or Justin's opinion on Three Colors and mine on Princess Bride.
Oh yeah, that was the premise of that whole episode, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And you picked a movie where we had to watch 2 other movies to get to that movie, but it was fine because the movies were really good. So
Cool. In the opening, the movie really sets up its concept with all these like people and stuff, and how like you have the possibility of fate and like going down different roads and having different outcomes and the different lives people live. So definitely sets up that nice in the opening. Once again, we get some fun animation mixed in here, where we get to see
fun is not the word I would use. That
You know what?
animation of Lola is fucking weird, man. The eyes are atrocious.
Oh, I love
But it is definitely 90s style animation. Like, you could show that to somebody with no context or anything, and they'd be like, that's from the fucking 90s, bro.
I just love anything like, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, how like the opening credits like go to like this weird animation. Same with like National Lampoon's Vacation. Anyway, any time when these live action movies like throw to animation, it's just very charming to me.
I just didn't like the style, the way they did her, like her face and her eyes. The animation itself was mostly fine. It's just she looked weird and funky, and I did not like it.
Okay. Very stylistic opening credits where we see like pretty much everybody in the film with like their face and their name and their signature. So very thorough there, I thought. I get how Lola didn't show up, but like I think Manny is being way kind of a bitch about this whole situation. What say you?
I mean, he does say that it's his fault because he made a rookie mistake, getting distracted by Bagman. So, but yeah, also you can't leave the bag of money. You can't leave the bag of $100,000 just on the subway. Like, can't do it.
Was it just me, or did that bum look like he just got pulled off the Monty Python set?
I mean, I could see that. I didn't think that, but I could definitely see that.
Okay. Any idea why those cops were like harassing Manny not to go back on the train? Was that just like there so he didn't get back on?
Well, I mean, Manny clearly is a criminal, and he's in with bad people, and this wasn't the first time he had done something. So okay. I'm sure he was like person they messed with him and shit. Yeah, kind of thing.
All right. I think I have such a fondness for this story because like Lola is all about like running out and figuring it out as she goes. She's not all about excuse me, bitching about it on the phone like, man, why don't you take it while I get over this?
To be fair, Manny is having like a fucking crisis, like existential crisis, because if he does not find this money, he is going to die. Homeboy is going to kill him. So he is kind of freaking out, and I do think that might be a little bit valid. Maybe, he should have been trying to come up with something instead of just bitching about it, like to put it. But I mean, he was freaking out, and he was handling it the only way that he could handle it at the time. The film is definitely kinetic. Every time the music ramps up for Lola to run, it just, it was crazy paced, very fast. She starts running. That's when we switch. She runs out of the house, switches to that animation we were talking about, her going down the stairs, and there's always a different interaction with the guy in the stairs and the dog. And then she hits downstairs, and we're back to like real time, live action kind of stuff. And
Yep, the bright sun as she running out of the apartment building. Yeah, that music definitely has my pumping my fist. And I guess just what I was getting at is like he's like, oh no, I'm gonna die. I'm in trouble and stuff. And I get what you're saying where he is in deep shit. But I like how Lola's just like, stay put. I'll be there in 20 minutes. She's gonna get shit taken care of. I like Lola.
also, I'm very surprised that her first thought is, I'm going to run there, and not, I'm gonna steal a car to get there. But I guess she's also not, she's not supposed to be a criminal, so maybe she doesn't have that like mindset or skill set. Although she very easily does some criminal shit.
So in the first one, she's running and she runs. Or I can't recall if she like runs into the lady with the baby carriage, but it's really fun how like each of these people she encounters, like just based on like whatever universe we're in, like they have dramatically different outcomes. Like this is easily the worst one for that lady, as she like apparently loses her kid and then like steals a kid. I'm not sure if it's her own or another kid, but yeah, she's having
that
a
was
rough go of it.
something with like that, or she had kidnapped that kid, or something like. Yeah, it was something. It was not good. Whatever it was not good.
Have you ever seen the Sandstorm music video?
I have not.
Oh, well, it definitely feels like this movie with people running around. But I love that scene of Lola running across that whole intersection because we get it 3 distinct times, so it's kind of hard not to think about it. You remember like the really poor cinematography at times in Dancer in the Dark, where like it would be like these dramatic conversations that were like shot in like the worst way possible, like with really bad film stock?
You mean the whole movie?
Shut up. All right, so
I don't specifically, but I do remember that movie was very grainy and looked like it was not from like the late 90s, early 2000s for sure.
Anyways, so these scenes of like her dad talking to his girlfriend or whatever, and it's very like low quality.
His mistress.
Yeah, they're very soapy looking or acted out, and it feels like a whole like digression from the movie. But come to find out, it ties right back in as soon as she gets there. But it was neat how it went from like this kinetic like boom 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 and Lola running and getting where she need to, and then it would cut to like these real like dramatic like dry stuff, and then back to the more kinetic stuff. So fun how it like bounced back between that kind of energy in the movie. So apparently Lola can see these people's paths in life. So so this guy offers her a bicycle, and it's the second time where like she the reason she refuses is because it's stolen, because like she can see like what happens to him in the first one where like she refuses the bike, and then he ends up getting jumped, but then finds a girlfriend or something, so it turns out okay for him anyways. There's no rhyme or reason for how these like side characters end up. It's just kind of fun to see what happens to them each time.
And they're all so different because she just like the first time says no, and then she's like, but it's stolen, and then the third time is he ends up trying to sells it to the money bag man, and so it all seems very random, but does tie in usually.
I'm cracked up with like the car full of meatheads as they like stare down the guy that accidentally ran into them. They're like, how dare you do this to us? We are a bunch of men, and we have muscles. We're German. I forgot about the annoying hallway lady, and I think she has 2 like scenes where we see what happens to her, and the first one's really bad with her like, something leads to her committing suicide, and it's pretty rough. I think she gets in a car accident, right? And then, I think it's car accident to suicide. So
yeah, that sounds right.
All right, so in the first encounter with her dad, which it was kind of interesting. What didn't you like think about like a Rolodex of like the people in her life, and like she stopped at her dad, and then she was like, all right, let's go see dad.
She's like, that's who she's going to see was Papa.
Was it just me, or did in one of these sequences he like said that he's like not actually her blood father. Is that
In the first one,
okay?
if I'm not mistaken, yeah. Where he says that she's not she hears that homeboy has knocked up his girlfriend, and then he's like, well, you're not my kid. Your mom was already pregnant, your dad was already gone, and then she's running from there, and then
I
we
guess her
get the
mom's
first.
the one that keeps talking about shampoo.
Yeah, her mom's the one who keeps talking about shampoo every time she leaves the apartment. It's like the only time we see her mom. They got this really cool scene where there's like an ambulance and she moves out of the way and the ambulance almost runs through a pane of glass. Like these people are walking through the causeway with it. I wonder how many times, like, this is obviously a lower budget movie, how many times they filmed that, and then the second one where they slammed through the glass, like, how many times did they get to slam through the gas? Like, it was just one, right? They're like, we got to film it from as many angles, because we fuck it up, it's over, kind of thing.
It was funny. I just watched Wayne's World the other night, and they have a gag in Wayne's World where there are people like that are constantly stacking like watermelons in baskets, and people walking with a pane of glass across the road because that's such a trope in movies. And sure enough, it shows up right here. Yep. So she asks nicely the first time and pretty much gets dejected and thrown out. Remember when wallet chains were a thing? Were in style.
Yes. Yeah, they were real big, real big.
All right.
For some reason.
So ending one, Manny robs the grocery store, but Lola gets there
Yeah, Lola gets there a few seconds too late, and then she tries to talk him out of it, and he won't do it, and this causes a security guard to get the drop on him, and then she hits the security guard and takes his gun, and then they run out of the store, surrounded by the cops, and Manny throws the bag of money, and cop shoots Lola right in the fucking chest.
Yeah. Oopsie.
Pretty much an oopsie, because he was like, oh shit.
And then we get this weird like bedroom scene digression where like Lola and Manny are talking about how much they love each other. And then all of a sudden we reset just like a video game 20 minutes earlier back to the end of that phone conversation, and we are on to round two. So this time the jerk on the stairs. So yeah, we kind of breezed over the jerk. So there's a jerk with a dog on the stairs, and the second time he actually trips her, and she falls down the entire last flight of stairs, which I thought was going to actually lead to her like, all right, let's take that bike after all. But no, she gets over that limp awfully fast and gets on running because this movie is Run Lola Run. Let's see, the bitch with the baby. She has a much better story this time with her winning the lotto and everybody being happy in her life. Did you notice how she runs past the bum in the first one and then into him on the second one?
Yes, because I was like, oh shit, there he is.
Oh, okay. Yep. I was like, oh, the first time I was like, is that the right bum? And then it's more noticeable each time. Apparently, a key difference this time is that she gets there before the mistress tells him that it's not actually his kid. And so, like, he still, like, kicks Lola out, but it's, like, more sudden this time. You have any more context to that part?
He did. I think this is the one where he's trying to give her, like, money out of his wallet, and she's like, no, I need more.
Right.
And then when she goes to leave, she takes the security guard's gun and goes back in and basically holds him hostage, forces him to go to the teller and take out the money, but then the teller's got to go downstairs because they don't have enough money, and basically stalling for time till the cops show up. And the cops show up and think that she's like a hostage and knock her out of the way, and then she gets up and just runs out of there.
Mm-hmm. And hallway ladies in this one too, and in this universe, she falls in love with the money guy, and they get into leather. She makes him her big leather daddy.
Yeah, oh, big leather daddy.
The cops they let Lola go because she's this weird chick with red hair. Well, she's not robbing the place. So in this one with the ambulance driver, she's like trying to talk to the ambulance driver, and like he's like fuck off, and then he runs right through the plate of glass.
Is this the one where she's inside? where she's inside
No,
at this point?
that's the third one.
Okay.
So because like he fucked up and ran through the plate of glass, he's like really distracted, and then he kills Manny.
Yeah, because Manny, for some reason,
Because she has the money.
They keep standing in the fucking street. In this movie, they stand in the fucking street, and so Manny gets run over.
That ambulance driver looks awfully dejected after breaking the glass and then running over a guy.
I mean, wouldn't you be dejected if you had just killed a man?
Probably so.
I mean, I guess unless you did it just to watch him die, and then that's a whole separate thing. But only if you're in Reno.
And so we kind of get the same thing with Manny, with like how he's like dead and like looking into the universe, but then we reset to Lola because that's what this movie is. Would you call this movie a time loop movie? It is, right?
Is it a time loop movie, or is it a loop movie like Looper where you're looping things, or is this 3 different outcomes that it could have been based off of things going differently?
Plot thickens. Okay, so our third attempt at trying to save the day. So this time, one of the big differences is that the bike guy sells the bike to the bum. And so the bum's riding around on this bike so Manny can find him and chase him down for it. Let's see. Since Lola helps the family friend from preventing him from wrecking into the meatheads, he gets to the father's office in time to pick him up. And then they go out and they get in a car accident. So they're out of the picture entirely. So,
yeah, and then so he's not there for Lola, and she has to try to come up with a new plan. And she sees a casino and basically goes in, and they tell her she doesn't have enough money, and she begs for she's like less than $1 or less than a full mark short. They tell her she can't be there in the clothes she's in, and she kind of just tells them to fuck off.
Oh, is that why the security was all up her ass because how she was dressed?
Yes, how she was dressed, and I guess they thought she was being fishy. She bet all on the. But I don't know how she would be cheating at roulette. You know, she had no control over the ball, so she just bet on 20 and then bet it all again, and got the money.
And we forgot to mention this crazy scream she does to kind of get her way.
Yeah, she's done this a few times where she screams really loud and like breaks glass and shit, and it's like, bitch, why don't you just do that when Homeboy shows up to kill Manny, like his boss?
Yeah,
just
use
scream.
your X-Men powers then.
Yeah, just use that's the Black Canary power. Thank you. That is DC. I'm sure X-Men has somebody, but that's DC. Thank you.
I was thinking of Banshee.
Yeah, I guess that would make sense.
All right, yep. So she gets all the money at the casino. Talked about that. So Lola hitches a ride with the ambulance. This time, her father's in the back, dying, and she's able to revive him through the power of touch.
Oh shit, that was her father? I did not piece that together. That was her dad.
That's the only thing that makes sense to me. I mean, he looked pretty fucked up, but like I'm thinking like her touch like revived him, kind of thing.
Maybe I just thought it was a rando, but okay, that would make more sense and tie in and shit. I just thought it was a random person.
Huh, there you go. Sometimes I have my moments with these foreign
films. We all have our moments, Justin.
Manny delivers the money, and then they walk off with the winnings in the end as the credits play backwards. And the bum, he takes the gun but doesn't shoot Manny, and that kind of made me nervous.
Yeah, that was a weird, like, it's like you don't give him the gun and take the money because then he has the gun and can get the money, but he didn't. So,
yep, and a nice, well-meaning bum. All right, so crazy, fun, energetic, provocative movie. I really like it. I'm surprised you didn't like it more. It's 4.5 for me, but pretty close to 5.
I mean, it was really good. I mean, I gave it 4. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, no, it was good. It wasn't a 5.
Okay. So you were feeling Mia Jokovic kind of vibes from her?
Oh, the way she looked and everything was definitely giving me Fifth Element vibes for sure. I mean, it's my number 5 movie so far on the year. So I mean, granted, it's only out of 16, but still, Still,
I
really
just know how hard you get for these cool chick movies, so I guess I was hoping for a little more than a 4.
I mean, maybe if I watched it again, but I mean, like I said, it was good. Like
Chick
I
movies
really
make you go
enjoy.
busting, right?
I do like strong, badass chick movies, and I do like movies with weird jumping back and forth timelines. So, yeah.
All right.
Maybe if I hadn't already seen the craziest action movie I'm probably going to see all year in Triple R, but
That was this year, huh?
yeah, I watched that at the beginning of this year. Yeah.
Okay. All right, my favorite time of the show. We've got to find out what we're watching next. How about you go first?
Alrighty, you got any guesses based off of the quote I gave you? Because you know how I do with quotes.
Oh, we gonna watch Ghost?
No, we're not gonna watch Ghost.
It's a Patrick Swayze movie?
It is a Patrick Swayze movie.
Oh my. Boop, beep, boop, boop, boop. Let's see what it could be.
I mean, you should know it's only one of my favorite movies.
We're not watching Point Break, are we?
Oh, we're watching motherfucking Point Break, son.
Okay, back to Point Break. It's been a couple years. I watched this with Marvin, for Marvin a few years ago, so. Motherfucking Point Break.
It was real close between Point Break and Sin City. And then Sin City.
And I watched both of those for Marvin, so how about that? This is the remake?
No. Get out of here. But the quote I was going to use if I had picked Sin City was, "No fucking shit, lady. Does it sound like I'm ordering a pizza?"
That's from another movie.
Yes. It's not from Sin City, but it's by the same actor.
Oh, Bruce Willis, Die Hard.
Yeah.
Also done on the podcast. All right. So we are in my Loved It or Hated It series. And now it's time for a movie I hated the first time I watched it. I thought I was going to like it. A lot of other people like it, but I fucking despised it. It's called All That Jazz.
Oh, shit. That's... So, remember how I said on a couple episodes ago I had like all the episodes planned out, and I've completely since scratched that because I just pick what I feel like picking at the time. All That Jazz was one of the movies that I was going to pick at some point this year, so that's kind of funny.
Rory Schneider plays the biggest womanizing son of a bitch in this movie, and it's super self-indulgent, and I guess I'm not one that really I'm not seeking a vindicated opinion. I just want to test it out the waters. Let's talk about it. Let's figure out if I still fucking hate this movie or not. But I was very much turned off about this movie the first time I saw it.
I feel like I remember either reading your review or you talking about it on like A Good, the Bad, and the Ugly and not being super impressed with it.
I mean, it's a good movie. It's just the main character is such a son of a bitch. It just did not work for me. But... you know, I've come a little ways with my feelings on unlikable characters. So, let's go.
Yeah, let's freaking go. And while we're going, anybody wants to, send us a question, comments, concerns, what have you, send it to the Average Joe's Movie Clubcast at gmail.com. We'd be more than happy to hear from you. We fucking would love to hear from you even.
So, Joey, why do we do this show?
Because we love talking about motherfucking movies.
And bustin' makes us feel good. Good night.
We be busted.
I hope we'll be busting with you. We're not going to watch the Bob Marley movie, not anytime soon, but we're going to be busting.
I'll be busting.
Too.
We be jamming. I'll be busting.
Good night.